there are only a few ways to make more money in sales. And one of them is to sell faster, right? To shorten your sales cycle. And I've always been in what would be considered complex sales. Since early 2000, I've been in high tech or software sales. So by a complex sale, the typical definition is it takes more than one meeting and there are more than one decision maker, more than one decision maker in the process. So selling to a board, a committee, being in high tech, I would sell, to a director of IT or CIO. They might defer to someone that runs the server room, somebody in charge of the client side, and they may have technicians under them that they bring in because they're going hands-on. And so they want to get feedback from the technician. So, a complex sale, and I may even have to meet with the CFO if the deal is big enough. And I did a lot of times. Selling software, since 2007, I started selling small business marketing automation software. 2008, I started working with Infusionsoft. I wrote this book. 2012, kept it updated until 2019, over 600 pages. I've sold a lot of software. And over the years, the other partners who were, in the early days, all of the partners were technical. They were coders, they were developers, they wanted to customize the software, they weren't selling it. And they would ask me, how do you sell so much? Which was kind of a silly question. It's kind of a backhanded compliment or even a backhanded insult because I wouldn't ask them, how do you code so much? The implication was you're a meathead. You're just a salesman. I'm a technician. I know all about this software. But there you are selling a bunch of it and we're not. And my secret, if you will, is that I know how to get to the truth quickly and honestly and naturally. The stuff that I do and the stuff that I teach is effective because it's just built on human nature. Yeah, there are some lines, some scripts you can leverage here and there to, especially in the beginning, to help you with your nerves, because when something's new, you're worried about it. You're self-conscious. But once you see how to engage with people, it's pretty straightforward. But in any software, bust out your iPhone or an Apple Watch. It could take hours and hours and hours to demo everything on an Apple Watch. That thing's been out for a long time and it's pretty simple, you would think, right? When you deal with complex things, software, cars, homes, you got to get to the truth. And the truth is relative to each prospect, okay? Because what is most important to them will vary. Now, obviously, there are only a few things that can be most important in whatever it is you're selling. Right? So it's software. What is the price? What's availability? What's the uptime? What's the support like? How does it integrate with other tools, that they may be using? So if it's a car, what's the gas mileage? What's the towing capacity? There's only a few things there, but I see it all the time. And I'm on Reddit and X and following different threads, and all the time, like in Reddit, someone will say, what CRM should I buy? And then you see people start answering the question. That's like saying, what car should I buy? What home should I buy? What woman should I marry? I'm like, what the hell? It's too broad of a question. And you're not even sure they're a serious buyer. Now, if they're on Reddit, they're probably a serious buyer, or at least farther along in the decision-making process. So it might be worth the time to engage. But when I would set demos for Infusionsoft, and I still sell, now called Keep, I sell HubSpot, a couple of other CRMs. And I sell my own private consulting and coaching, right? So when people would say, so I would set up a demo, and in the early days, Infusionsoft, it was like $2,000 down. It was $299 a month for 5 seats. Like that was it. It was like the Ford Model T. You can get any color you want as long as it's black. That was it. And these partners, they would have 3 and 4 meetings over an hour long each, spread out over weeks. It would take them 3 to 6 weeks and, 6 or more hours of demos to make the sale. I'd make the sale in one 45-minute call. I'm like, how do you do it? And so I would get on the call and kind of like the people, on Reddit, what CRM should I buy? They'd show up thinking, getting ready for a dog and pony show, get their popcorn. Okay, show us the software. So I'd say, I'd love to show you the software. What would you like to see? Well, go ahead, just like start at the beginning. Happy to do that, but in the interest of time, this is a complex tool. And it helped that I wrote the book, right? So I literally wrote the book on it. So I can show you over 600 pages of documentation, But I mean, I don't think you want to know all of that, do you? Oh, hell no, of course not. Oh, that'd be boring as hell. Yeah. Like I wrote the book and it would be boring. But it's like, so what brought you here, right? What are the top three? And this is a writer downer, okay, for anything that you sell, right? But say, what are the top three non-negotiable things you need to see in this software to help you, to give you the confidence to move forward? You can do that in real estate. You're trying to get a listing. Tell us why we should list with you. So, well, what are the top three non-negotiable things you're looking for in the agent that eventually, you hire, you retain to help you list your home? I'm looking at cars. What are the top three non-negotiable things? And if they don't know, and it kind of depends on my mood, but a lot of times I'll rattle off a few things. Like, what are the top three non-negotiable things you're looking for in this software? Is it integration with your website? Do you have a retail store you need to integrate with your ERP? Is it affiliate marketing? Is it the sales automation? Is it the marketing automation? Is it pre-sale or post-sale support, right? Because there are a lot of different, get a lead, nurture the lead, get them to a meeting, get them to buy. A lot of people, they struggle with that. Others are like, no, we got a lot of leads. It's the fulfillment that kills us. We need to assign ownership to an onboarding specialist. They got to go through that. Then we assign them to a long-term inside rep, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so walk me through that. Maybe there's a project management. So I'll kind of frame it because you can't have this endless, unbounded discussion. So once we narrow it down, and a lot of times how they answer tells you a lot. They have either considered it and they rattle off 3 or 5 or 7 things, or they're like, wow, I don't really know. Joe, what do you think? That tells you something. Okay. If they don't have them really nailed down, then maybe they're not such a great prospect, and that's fine. In the demo, you can bubble things up and then gauge their interest. But, let's say, so again, you're going to say, well, yeah, we're just hoping to get an overview, get an idea of the software, how it works. Oh, fantastic. Have you seen it before? Yes or no? No, I mean, we watched some demos online, but no, it's our first time with it. Okay. So if they haven't really come up with things, I'd say, walk me through a typical day in the life. Where's something that's like really frustrating? Where's something that's very tedious? How do you want to use this right away? Is it to take away boredom and tedious, like manual data entry? Is it to accelerate, time to market? What are you hoping to get out of this? What's your biggest frustration? So, because even if they don't have all these goals, a lot of times people know what pisses them off. Well, my car, I have terrible acceleration with my car. I can't tow my boat. Okay, now we're getting there. Right? It's too hard to send an email with this other tool, or there's no affiliate tracking links. The CRM that we have is just not very user-friendly. Doesn't have enough custom fields. Doesn't have a mobile app. Okay. Oh, do you have salespeople out in the field a lot? Yes. Oh, how many? 3, 5, 7. Are they like just in one city, one state? Are they nationwide? Yeah, nationwide. Okay. That's starting to now tell me something. So you got to ask good questions. You got to listen. And you have to judge the prospect, like their emotion, their intensity level. Come on, sound like that's important. Hey man, let me pause this. Hey, I decided to leave that in because I think it's funny. And I want you to see a little bit of behind the scenes, right? Maybe that's a blooper. I'll make a blooper reel later, but I don't make mistakes. And one time I thought I was wrong, but I was mistaken. But I digress. So I just learned I'm using this app for recording called Riverside. And I started using it years ago and it wasn't quite right. Started using it again maybe a year ago, and I've been loving it ever since. But I just learned a lesson myself. I need more meeting rooms. So I have the sales podcast room, and I had a generic meet with Wes. And so my Tuesday inner circle, I've just used the meet with Wes. But I was trying to record this video quickly before that call started. And Chris showed up a little bit early, but I didn't have time to finish it anyway. So I just figured I'd leave it in. But hey, if you're interested, every Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific, you can join the inner circle. We do live calls. I got a private group. You can ask questions, help you with sales scenarios like we're talking about here. But anyway, so make another room. So I made another room in Riverside. Well, they call them studios. So for my musings, I'm calling it. But you would never know, because once I'm done, you just name it, you edit it, you download the file and upload it. But that will prevent people from jumping in down the road. 5.5 weeks, so I'm still coughing. So we can track my progress as well on these videos. But as I was saying, when you're starting to narrow down, you have to narrow down the focus. for your prospects. You do not have an eternity to do demos. They don't have an eternity to watch them. They don't have that much of an interest. They don't have that much of a pain. Okay, people only buy to solve a pain, to make a pain go away. It's much easier to sell an aspirin than a vitamin. Okay, so as I'm asking them these questions, walk me through a day in the life of what really irritates you. What are you hoping to achieve? What are your top 3 non-negotiable criteria? So I've ended demos short, quickly. I've sent links to them, resources. If they really weren't that motivated, they didn't have that much pain. Like, it doesn't sound like this is really a big issue for you. Like, what led you to schedule this meeting today? There's always some kind of event. Something triggers them. Yes, it may have been building up for months and years, but eventually somebody got irritated enough, they start looking for solutions. So the setup matters so much. To close well, to close easily, to close naturally, to have your prospects ask how they can buy, you got to set up well. And to set up well, you must disqualify. And people will say, oh, that's just semantics. Like, no, there's a difference between qualifying and disqualifying. I need to know who really has some issues that I can solve. Or it's sales malpractice. If you go in with a tummy ache and the guy's like, oh, the surgeon, let's just operate. What? Maybe it's just indigestion. So you can't just start diagnosing and prescribing right away, even if you know what's going on. Yeah, that's where the term, bedside manner comes in. It's like, does the prospect or the patient feel heard and understood? Have they been listened to? Prospects are no different. They're running around, hair on fire, all putting out fires. They have concerns. A lot of times they can't talk with people about it because it is lonely at the top. So when you can take the time to calm down, slow them down, and make them think and be comfortable in silence, be comfortable with long pauses, that's when you know you're doing things right. Okay? Be comfortable in that presence and be comfortable making your prospects uncomfortable. I've used this analogy before with like attorneys. If you've been injured at work and you go in to see them and they're going to start peppering you. Were you drinking? Were you using drugs? Do you use drugs and alcohol now? Have you ever been to a rehab center? Have you ever been Alcoholics Anonymous? Are you a recovering addict? Blah, blah, blah. Have you had other issues before? Have you ever filed a claim? They're just going to start, they have to disqualify you. Okay. So when I'm talking to these prospects, I'm like, what is going on? Why is this really an issue? I am comfortable making them uncomfortable. And attorneys are comfortable making their prospects uncomfortable. Doctors, hey, go ahead and get undressed, put this robe on, put this gown on. Yeah, it doesn't really tie in the back. Sit on that crinkly paper. Yeah, it's cold in here, but I need access to all of you to do my work. They're comfortable making you uncomfortable. They're comfortable being in the presence of an uncomfortable person, and they have to sit and wait for the answer, and they have to get the truth, or they can't move forward. It's the same with you. It is the same in sales. So are you comfortable being in the presence of someone you made uncomfortable? And obviously, we're talking about business. Like, what do you mean you don't know how many leads you get in? What do you mean you don't know your average sales cycle? What do you mean you don't know the lifetime value of a customer? What do you mean you don't know your margins, right? So you start peppering them, and now we say, okay. And look, sometimes they've said, we want something that does this, this, and this. I'm like, we do A and B, we don't do C. Is that a showstopper? If it is, we can just wrap this up. Well, A and B are most important. C's nice to have. Okay. We can do A and B. And we can probably find a workaround for C, but I just want to be upfront. Like this, we're not good at C. Okay, that's fine. A and B are critical. Great. Wrap up the call. But now once they've really honed in, we need A, B, and C, ideally D and E. Hey, we do all those. And then I'll have them walk me through a day in the life of, how does this come in? How do you do it now? I'll pull up their website, look at it. Where's the frustration? Where's the bottleneck? Where's the slowdown? Okay. And then I will, in real time, build out a solution for them. Now, again, I'm using software as an analogy because that's what I've sold a lot of and still do. So I can demo it, okay, and show them how easy it is to accomplish their goals. Now, again, I was selling software that people thought was complex, and I would show them how simple it really is once you understood it. And then I was very good at teaching it, so I was good at helping average people understand and use complex tools, or tools that they thought were complex. You just got to think a little differently. All right. But again, the ultimate goal of this video is to help you understand, disqualifying prospects, cutting to the chase, helping the prospect, maybe for the first time, verbalize, and which helps them realize and recognize what's important to them. Is it truly gas mileage of the car? Is it crash safety rating? Is it warranty? Okay, is it capacity? They're having a baby, having another baby. They got 2 kids and a dog. They're into surfing and mountain biking, need space. Okay, let's verbalize this thing. Homes are tough. Nobody ever finds the exact home, even if they build it. It's not the way they want it. So there has to be compromises. Kitchen, garage, a gated neighborhood, good schools, short commute, affordable. It's hard to find all that. And sometimes the prospects, they haven't truly verbalized it. There's some pent up frustration, a little bit of argument going, a little bickering going on, below the surface. You have to be uncomfortable being in the presence of uncomfortable people. You want to make that sale? You want to sell that house? Help negotiate that discussion. So in a complex sale, there's a pecking order. A lot of salespeople make the mistake of thinking the person with the title is the decision maker. Good leaders are not the decision maker. They defer it. They hand it off to their people. Sure, they're supervising it. They're overseeing it. If it's truly a crazy idea, they'll veto it. But great CIOs, CFOs, CEOs, they delegate. They let their people run with it. And so if you talk down to the quote unquote technician, the wrench turner, if you make them feel bad, behind closed doors, they'll sell against you. And good leaders will see that anyway. I don't like how that guy was treating them. We're not going with him. Even though it's a good product, we're not going with that person. So you can sabotage yourself. You need to recognize 99% of the sale is happening when you're not there. If you have a 1-hour demo in a 40-hour week, right, that's barely 2% of the week. If they go 2-3 weeks before they buy, less than 1% of the time are you around to help them make that decision. So tread carefully. Treat everyone with respect. Treat everyone like the decision maker when you're talking, right? Let them go, oh, no, that's not mine. Oh, the boss does that. Or the boss will go, hey, this is not me. I'm just here to kind of supervise and stay on top of things. But you got to convince Joe and Mary, this is their call. Okay. That's one of the few assumptions that I'll ever make, right? It's that everybody's equal. I'll assume that the person I'm talking to is the decision maker and let them tell me no. Okay. And it's a little bit of wordsmithing, a little bit of psychology, flipping the script a little bit, but it has served me well. Okay. So again, you've got a complex sale. You want to shorten the sales cycle. I'll make videos later about raising the price, right? And everybody should be raising their prices. But if you can compress time frames, you can sell more, right? It's just common sense. Other folks are doing 4 hours of demos over 3 or 4 weeks. I'm doing 45-minute demos once. There's only so many hours in the day. So I sold more, made more money by following that process. And look, it really only takes a few minutes, sometimes less than a minute, right? Hey, well, show me your software. We're for the demo. Happy to show you. Where should we begin? Start at the beginning. The beginning is different for everyone. What's your experience with this kind of platform? Have you used these before? And look, don't critique, don't criticize the competitors. Okay. If I'm selling Fords and you drive up in a Chevy, obviously, well, hey, what are you looking to do? You're looking to add on to your fleet of vehicles, just an additional truck, for the family. No, I'm trading this in. That's an old school Chevy. Why? That's a good truck, like a rock. Why are you getting rid of that? And maybe they say, it has been like a rock. It's been wonderful. It's been beautiful. But it's been great. It's just, I'm just ready for a change after all these years. Or I don't like, and this is where they'll tell you how to sell to them. I don't like the bumper. I don't like the headlights. I don't like the plastic interior. I don't like the entertainment center. The new ones don't have enough torque. Okay. But I'm not beating them up, because when you criticize and critique what they currently have, you're criticizing their past decision making, and people will bow up and defend it. Yeah, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Well, at the time, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever, Ford was making crap. Okay, now they're defensive. You know what? Never mind. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I'll come back later. Sorry to waste your time. They drive off and go to the next dealership. They drive the Toyota. So be careful criticizing. That's a little bit of reverse psychology. Why would you get rid of what you have? That's a good platform. Let them tell you why. Why do they want to move? Now, all you have to do is show them what is lacking in their current system. It's an easy and obvious decision to make the switch and go with you. Okay. That's why I say the stuff that I teach, it's normal. It's natural, no pressure. And we have to get to their truth. Overall, I don't like that. I'm living my truth. Yeah, whatever. But when you're buying something, everybody has their truth. You like vanilla, I like chocolates. You like strawberry. Okay, that's your truth. That's your preference. I'm not there to tell them they're wrong. I'm not there to judge them. But the truth is, I have told more people no to buying software from me than yes. I'll say that again. I have told them no. More people no than yes. Well, what do you mean? Why don't you just take their money? If it's not right, it's not right. Now, over the years, I have expanded my offering. So, if you only sell Fords and you only sell new Fords, you're kind of forced to steer, persuade, cajole, pressure them into buying what you have. Now, if you can sell new and used, maybe you've got a lower price Ford, you can sell them. Maybe you have a lower price Chevy, you can sell them. That's why over the years, I expanded my offering. So, but even before, when I was for 6 years, I only sold Infusionsoft. And so it was not right for most people that were interested. So I became an affiliate of like AWeber, Constant Contact, very limited tools, but very affordable for new people. So they could cut their teeth. They could get experience crafting emails, crafting a series of emails, drip sequences, nurture sequences, whatever you want to call them, getting accustomed to creating web forms, designing the forms, embedding them on their website, thinking systematically, thinking long-term, thinking nurturing for both pre-sales and post-sales support. Then when they were ready, they could come back to me. And so since 2008, I've been selling that stuff. Nobody has ever said, nor could they say, and that's why they haven't said it, that I pressured them into buying something, right? It's not my style. And I put food on the table for a family of 9 by being in sales since 1997, selling software since 2008 on my own. Karma is a thing, right? People, when you treat them right, they'll remember it. At least they won't speak negatively of you. And the reality is, when we're mad, we'll tell something like 21 people that we're mad. If we're happy, we might tell 3. It's like very skewed. And there's a psychological reason for that. And I'll work on that later on the video. But so at a minimum, that you won't get bad press. But ultimately what happens is you'll get a referral. They'll come back to you for something else. They've come back to me for sales training. They bought my book. They bought my flashcards. So brought me in to speak. So it comes back. Okay. So what you put out there matters, what you put into the world. So relax. Don't try to show every single thing. Don't try to boil the ocean. Find out what's ultimately important to each prospect. And what's important to them is not right, wrong, or indifferent. So don't judge. Don't try to shift their focus, okay, because you think you know better. Help them solve their pain, and you'll be good to go. All right? Thanks for watching. Go sell something.